So Charles and I just finished filming the guard passing section of his new course, and we came to this realization that the pressure passing that Charles does, he taught it to me when I was a brown belt, and it took me 6 months before I could even pull it off. And I was a brown belt, like, and neither against blue belts and white belts and things. And it wasn't because the technique is wrong. It's because I haven't put the hours into making the technique work for me, do you know? And what I had to do was every time I did a roll, I had to try and force the legs together and apply my weight. And I ran into all the mistakes. Hips too high, trying to rush the pass at the end, fucking Kimura it. Do you know? I believe in my hand out here.
Yeah.
And so one of the things is like, how do you know that you're actually making this progress in a position? And how do I know that I should keep going when something isn't working?
Yeah. I think the path we went through, all the frustration part and the time length of waiting 6 months to have a click and understand, wow, that was a longer time frame trying this, but now I can understand that's the answer. You need to go through that, because everyone that achieve the knowledge and be able to execute those techniques, they go through this. I think a lot of people, they give up on jiu-jitsu and then they get frustrated and sometimes they say, oh, that's not for me. That's because you try to skip the hard path that everyone that achieves something, like any technique they want to do, you need to go through that. Sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's 3 months, sometimes it's a year time. But like, how much do you want it? How much do you really want to persist in that subject, you know? That's the real talk, the real truth, you know. You need to be very patient, and then information is everywhere, you know. To learn jiu-jitsu now is much easier than years ago. So maybe the answer that I give to you took you 6 months. Maybe someone more experienced and a different vision, they could explain something to you. You could take 3 months or 2 months. You never know, but it's very personal. This drive has to come from you of learn and persist and then be able to not give up and then solve the problems. Solve problems every day. Yeah. You need to be good at solving problems.
This is kind of the journey of learning something new. Learn, fail, fail, fail. Think about giving up. Yeah. Fail some more. Little breakthrough. Fail, fail, fail. And then
click.
Yeah, and then
when you reach the other side it feels nice. Yeah. Because the moment you reach the other side, you was worth it. And then I think in everything in life, let's say, you know, let's be cheesy here, but it's hard the whole path. You know, jiu-jitsu is not different. When you reach the other side, you one more out of the list, and then that goes to takedowns, guard passes, and sweeps. Submissions, defense. The journey is so long, and that's why it's so cool. Like, that's why it's so enjoyable, because it's so hard.
And what you try to do with your gut pressure passing modules, you try to give people hell speed it up, like the common mistakes.
Yeah.
The stuff that took me 6 months, you try to go, here are the main pitfalls. I mean, that's what a good coach does.
Absolutely. For example, I think at the time when we were training was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? That was a long time ago. And then me as a coach, I tried to not just become a better athlete. I'm also trying to improve my didactics. How could I make Will achieve what he wanted in a less time frame? Yeah. You know, so I think this course was kind of a blended of like how I always thought the techniques are worth it to learn. For example, learning class techniques with Mauricio Gomez, where he did on me. He legit did the technique on me, and then he's still doing that every day. 70 years old guy, and he's still doing that every day. So his technique has been legit working many, many people. Yeah. And then I think the reflection why Roger became such a good competitor, the great of all time, was he had the experience of his father that he does this sort of pass. He was the beginning, and Roger was the evolution, but with exactly the same concept. And then I was lucky to be surrounded and be able to learn that concept.
Yeah, and it's like almost like this timeless jiu-jitsu that's been really sharpened. You get to put into your game without having to do all the years to sharpen it. You know?
Yeah, it's like every time you learn, for example, what you learn in 6 months, I took years to learn. You know? And then that's how you're going to go. And then you kind of extracted all my frustrations, all the time that I took it, I tried to blend and then, hey, that's what happened with me. And then you have to go through your experience and then trying to digest that the best way possible and then find a way.
Yeah, and then apply it, and then they got in. Try to teach someone, and then it's the same
It's a
cycle of the. So it's like not only are you progressing, but the coach is progressing in their ability to teach, and also the technique is progressing in its own evolution.
Yeah.
And those three things all coming together.
Yeah. The concept is one.
Yeah.
But the ways to apply this concept is many, right? There's a big variety. And then things are always improving, always getting better. So sometimes one small details can change everything. And I'm always, as a coach, I'm always trying to learn from someone else or see for why I do something different, like can be the key to make someone learn that thing quicker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or the technique better.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. And I think we were talking about, like, when I was in Howder's Garage, I tried to do this pressure pass. Like, I've been doing it for years now, since he told me. The guy's butterfly guard was so good that for the 5-minute round, I couldn't get what I needed. Yeah. And you said, but what about a 15-minute round?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's one thing. I think Hickson Gracie, he does in his school. Chrome Gracie, they don't put time.
Yeah.
Let's say New Wave, the Danaher team, they don't put time. That's because sometimes when you compress the performance in a 5 minutes round, it's not much that people train to be really tough in that 5 minutes round. But what about if you put
6 minutes?
It
all falls apart.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
If you put an extra minute, everything changed, and that's how it goes, And you should not get frustrated for the fact you're trying something in 5 minutes and then you cannot even get close, because if you get 1 extra minute or you add another 10 minutes on top of it,
you'll get it.
Yeah, you do a round without time. If you sweep me, cool, good on you, and if I pass you, because I achieve this with time, this is also an element of it's part of the game. You are persistent, being disciplined, trying for 5, 6, 10 minutes, and then you achieve.
Yeah, so sometimes you are progressing, you just don't notice it because of the time control.
Yeah.
Yeah, so mix in a 10-minute roll or a 15-minute roll if you can, and see how different your jiu-jitsu looks then.
Completely. I think the 5 minutes will be very physical. Yeah. Everyone's fresh and has energy, but
10, 15 minutes later, back-to-back 15-minute roll.
Oh, yes. then your physical part goes to
the side, and that's when you're left with your real jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that's when the jiu-jitsu comes well paid, huh?
Yeah, and that's the thing that you actually want to try and build better and better.